Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, Elizabeth Angela Marguerite Bowes-Lyon, born on the 4th of August 1900, and died on the 30th of March 2002. Was Queen of the United Kingdom and the Dominions of the British Commonwealth from December 11, 1936 to February 6, 1952 as the wife of King George VI. She was the last Empress of India from her husband's accession as King Emperor in 1936 until the British Raj was dissolved in August 1947. After her husband died, she was known as Queen Elizabeth the Queen Mother, to avoid confusion with her daughter, Queen Elizabeth II. Born into a family of British nobility, Elizabeth came to prominence in 1923 when she married the Duke of York, the second son of King George V and Queen Mary. The couple and their daughters Elizabeth and Margaret embodied traditional ideas of family and public service. The Duchess undertook a variety of public engagements and became known for her consistently cheerful countenance. In 1936, Elizabeth's husband unexpectedly became king when his older brother, Edward VIII, abdicated in order to marry the American divorcee Wallis Simpson. Elizabeth then became queen consort. She accompanied her husband on diplomatic tours to France and North America before the start of the Second World War. During the war, her seemingly indomitable spirit provided moral support to the British public. After the war, her husband's health deteriorated, and she was widowed at the age of 51. Her elder daughter, aged 25, became the new queen. After the death of Queen Mary in 1953, Elizabeth was viewed as the matriarch of the British royal family. In her later years, she was a consistently popular member of the family, even when other members were suffering from low levels of public approval. She continued an active public life until just a few months before her death at the age of 101, which was 7 weeks after the death of her younger daughter, Princess Margaret. Known for her personal and public charm, Elizabeth was one of the most popular members of the royal family, and helped to stabilize the popularity of the monarchy as a whole. Elizabeth's critics included Kitty Kelly, who falsely alleged that she did not abide by the rationing regulations during the Second World War. This, however, was contradicted by the official records. And Eleanor Roosevelt during her wartime stay at Buckingham Palace reported expressly on the rationed food served in the palace and the limited bathwater that was permitted. Claims that Elizabeth used racist slurs to refer to black people were strongly denied by Major Colin Burgess, the husband of Elizabeth Burgess, a mixed-race secretary who accused members of Prince Charles's household of racial abuse. Elizabeth made no public comments on race, but according to Robert Rhodes James in private she abhorred racial discrimination and decried apartheid as dreadful. Woodrow Wyatt records in his diary that, when he expressed the view that non-white countries have nothing in common with us, she told him, "I am very keen on the Commonwealth. They're all like us." However, she did distrust Germans. She told Woodrow Wyatt, "Never trust them, never trust them." While she may have held such views, it has been argued that they were normal for British people of her generation and upbringing, who had experienced 2 vicious wars with Germany. In his official biography, William Shawcross portrays Elizabeth as a person whose indomitable optimism, zest for life, good manners, mischievous sense of humor, and interest in people and subjects of all kinds contributed to her exceptional popularity and to her longevity. Sir Hugh Casson said Elizabeth was like a wave breaking on a rock, because although she is sweet and pretty and charming, she also has a basic streak of toughness and tenacity. When a wave breaks on a rock, it showers and sparkles with a brilliant play of foam and droplets in the sun, yet beneath is really hard, tough rock, fused, in her case, from strong principles, physical courage and a sense of duty. Sir Peter Ustinov described her during a student demonstration at the University of Dundee in 1968. As we arrived in a solemn procession, the students pelted us with toilet rolls. They kept hold of one end, like streamers at a ball, and threw the other end. The Queen Mother stopped and picked these up as though somebody had misplaced them. Returning them to the students, she said, "Was this yours? Oh, could you take it? And it was her sang-froid and her absolute refusal to be shocked by this, which immediately silenced all the students. She knows instinctively what to do on those occasions. She doesn't rise to being heckled at all, she just pretends it must be an oversight on the part of the people doing it. The way she reacted not only showed her presence of mind, but was so charming and so disarming, even to the most rabid element, that she brought peace to troubled waters. Elizabeth was well known for her dry witticisms. On hearing that Edwina Mountbatten was buried at sea, she said, "Dear Edwina, she always liked to make a splash." Accompanied by the gay writer Sir Noel Coward at a gala, she mounted a staircase lined with guards. Noticing Coward's eyes flicker momentarily across the soldiers, she murmured to him, "I wouldn't if I were you, Noel, they count them before they put them out." After being advised by a conservative minister in the 1970s not to employ homosexuals, Elizabeth observed that without them, we'd have to go self-service. On the fate of a gift of a Nebuchadnezzar of champagne, 20 bottles worth, even if her family did not come for the holidays, she said, "I'll polish it off myself." Amina Sainer of The Guardian suggests that with a gin and Dubonnet at noon, red wine with lunch, a port and martini at 6 p.m. and 2 glasses of champagne at dinner. A conservative estimate puts the number of alcohol units she drank at 70 a week. Her lifestyle amused journalists, particularly when it was revealed she had a multi-million-pound overdraft with Coutts Bank. Her habits were parodied by the satirical 1980s television program Spitting Image. This was the first satirical depiction on television. The makers initially demurred from featuring her, fearing that it would be considered off-limits by most of the viewing public. In the end, she was portrayed as a perpetually tipsy Beryl Reid sound-alike. She was portrayed by Juliet Aubrey in Bertie and Elizabeth, Sylvia Sims in The Queen, Natalie Dormer in W.E. Olivia Colman in Hyde Park on Hudson, Victoria Hamilton, Seasons 1 and 2, and Marion Bailey, Seasons 3 and 4, in The Crown. And in The King's Speech by Helena Bonham Carter, who was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress and won a BAFTA Award for Best Actress in a Supporting Role for her portrayal. The Cunard White Star Line's RMS Queen Elizabeth was named after her. She launched the ship on September 27, 1938 in Clydebank, Scotland. Supposedly, the liner started to slide into the water before Elizabeth could officially launch her, and acting sharply, she managed to smash a bottle of Australian Red over the liner's bow just before it slid out of reach. In 1954, Elizabeth sailed to New York on her namesake. A statue of Elizabeth by sculptor Philip Jackson was unveiled in front of the George VI Memorial, off the Mall, London, on February 24, 2009. Creating the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Memorial. In March 2011, her eclectic musical taste was revealed when details of her small record collection kept at the Castle of Moy were made public. Her records included ska, local folk, Scottish reels and the musicals Oklahoma, and The King and I, and artists such as yodeler Montana Slim, Tony Hancock, The Goons, and Noel Coward. 8 years before her death, she had reportedly placed 2/3 of her money, an estimated £19 million, into trusts, for the benefit of her great-grandchildren. In her lifetime, she received £643,000 a year from the civil list, and spent an estimated £1 to £2 million annually to run her household. By the end of the 1990s, her overdraft was said to be around £4 million. She left the bulk of her estate, estimated to be worth between £50 and £70 million, including paintings, Fabergé eggs, jewelry, and horses, to her surviving daughter, Queen Elizabeth II. Under an agreement reached in 1993, property passing from monarch to monarch is exempt from inheritance tax. As is property passing from the consort of a former monarch to the current monarch, so a tax liability estimated at £28 million, 40% of the value of the estate, was not incurred. The most important pieces of art were transferred to the royal collection by Elizabeth II. Following her death, the Queen successfully applied to the High Court so that details of her mother's will would be kept secret. This brought criticism from the Labour Party politicians and segments of the public, and the Queen eventually released the outlines of her mother's will. Thanks for watching HerStory channel. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe our channel.